Spokesperson for Taylor Swift is slamming an attempt to get the pop superstar to testify in next year's jury trial related to the 2024 film It Ends With Us. Swift's representative called the subpoena from actor Justin Baldoni's lawyer, quote, tabloid clickbait, saying Swift had nothing to do with the film other than licensing music. Baldoni and Swift's friend, Blake Lively, have several dueling lawsuits over the movie. Lively accuses her co-star Baldoni of sexual harassment, with Baldoni responding with...
When one of the world's biggest pop stars gets caught in a web of questionable PR tactics, the fallout can be devastating. Taylor Swift's reputation as America's sweetheart may be crumbling, and the evidence suggests she might be using the exact same playbook as Blake Lively. Before we dive in, if you want the full breakdown on celebrity PR disasters and legal battles, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This story is about to get messy. Was this carefully orchestrated damage control, or did Taylor's team just get sloppy? Could this PR scandal actually tie Swift directly to the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni legal battle? Let's break down what just surfaced. Rolling Stone recently published something that raised eyebrows across the internet. The magazine ran a story claiming that Taylor Swift became the target of a coordinated bot campaign when her latest album dropped in October. According to the article, networks of fake accounts deliberately spread negative narratives about the singer, twisting legitimate criticism into conspiracy theories involving accusations of supporting certain political movements and displaying controversial imagery. But here's where it gets interesting. The research behind this claim came from an obscure company called Gudia, a firm that's barely been operational since 2023, has almost no online presence, and has never published research of this scale before. This single report analyzed tens of thousands of social media posts across multiple platforms, concluding that what appeared to be organic criticism was actually manufactured outrage designed to damage Swift's reputation.
Mind that if Taylor Swift truly believed her friend, Blake Lively, the godmother to this woman's children, do you think she would really leave her out here to dry like this? It does not make sense that she would not be out here supporting her in full force. You simply cannot convince me that Taylor Swift believes Blake Lively, because not only that, we also have whenever, the subpoena came out and she was supposed to come out and speak, this is what her reps had to say.
Rolling Stone presented this as bombshell evidence. The article strongly implied a connection between the supposed bot attacks on Swift and similar alleged campaigns targeting Blake Lively during her promotional tour for a recent film. The suggestion? Someone orchestrated both attacks. The unspoken implication? Swift's fanbase erupted. Here was proof, they argued, that the backlash against their favorite artist wasn't genuine. It was artificial, driven by malicious actors with an agenda. If that logic makes sense to you so far, hit like and subscribe because this case only gets more complicated from here. But not everyone bought it. Critics immediately questioned the timing, the source, and the conclusions. Why would an unknown research firm suddenly produce a major report about Taylor Swift? Why did Rolling Stone run with it despite the lack of transparency about methodology? And why did the article seem designed to deflect from legitimate criticisms people had raised about the album? The album itself had sparked genuine debate. Some listeners praised it, others felt disappointed. Black women online specifically called out certain lyrics and imagery they found problematic, pointing to patterns of cultural appropriation they'd observed in Swift's work. Yet the Rolling Stone article seemed to lump everything together, suggesting that any negativity surrounding the album release stemmed from coordinated manipulation rather than honest reactions. Then The Verge stepped in. Their investigation revealed the cracks in this narrative. They reached out to the journalist who wrote the Rolling Stone piece, a reporter who frequently covers Swift and appears sympathetic to her. They contacted Gudia directly, and most tellingly, they approached Swift's longtime publicist, Tree Payne. If you think it's the second, go ahead and like the video and subscribe. You'll want to see how this unfolds. Here's what makes this explosive. Tree Payne refused to comment unless her statements remained completely off the record and unattributable. Think about that for a moment. If Swift's team had nothing to do with this report, why would her publicist need to speak anonymously? A simple statement denying involvement would suffice. Instead, Payne attempted to control the narrative while avoiding accountability. A textbook PR maneuver when something doesn't smell right. The Verge refused those terms. Their editorial policy doesn't allow public relations professionals to hide behind anonymity while shaping coverage, so Payne never commented. But her attempt to speak off the record tells us everything. She had information she wanted to share, but she didn't want her name attached to it. Why? Let's examine the Goodia report itself. According to experts who reviewed it, the research lacks basic scientific rigor. There's no detailed methodology explaining how data was collected or analyzed, no breakdown of which platforms contributed which posts, no sample posts provided as evidence, no research questions clearly stated up front. If your answer is no, you already know where you stand. Instead, Goodia told Rolling Stone that someone on their staff had a gut feeling about Swift facing coordinated attacks, so they investigated. A gut feeling. Jessica Maddox, a researcher who studies online fan communities and social media manipulation, pointed out these glaring deficiencies. She noted that legitimate research would include statistical tests, transparent sampling methods, and verifiable data. This report offered none of that. Even more suspicious, Goodia claimed they produced this report independently, with no outside party requesting it. But they admitted contacting counsel believed to represent Taylor Swift after completing the research. They used publicly available legal contact information and allegedly received no response. Except we know Payne tried to brief The Verge off the record. So when Goodia says they heard nothing back, are they being entirely truthful? Or did communications happen that they're conveniently omitting? The pattern becomes clearer when you consider how this unknown company's report ended up exclusively with Rolling Stone, specifically with a journalist known for defending Swift against her critics. That's not how research typically gets distributed. To understand why this matters, we need context. When Taylor Swift released her latest album in October, reactions were mixed. Commercially, it performed well. Swift's fanbase is massive and loyal. But critically and culturally, the reception was more complicated. Some praised the artistic direction, others found it lacking compared to her previous work. And a vocal group of critics, particularly Black women online, identified specific lyrics and visual choices they considered racially insensitive or appropriative. These criticisms spread organically across social media. People debated the album's quality, discussed its themes, and questioned certain creative decisions. Standard stuff when a major artist releases new work. But discourse around Swift also touched on broader issues: her immense wealth, her business practices, her political statements or lack thereof, her treatment of other artists. At the same time, Blake Lively was dealing with her own controversy. During the promotional tour for her film about domestic violence, many people felt she handled the marketing inappropriately. They criticized her for promoting alcohol and personal business ventures while discussing serious subject matter. They noticed co-star Justin Baldoni wasn't participating in press events. They pointed to Lively's history of allegedly rude behavior toward journalists. This wasn't a bot campaign. People were genuinely put off by what they observed. Now Lively has filed legal action against Baldoni, accusing him of orchestrating a smear campaign to destroy her reputation. Part of her case suggests coordinated online attacks designed to turn public opinion against her. Let's talk about what's really happening here from a strategic standpoint. When celebrities face criticism, their publicists have several options. They can ignore it and let it blow over. They can address it directly with honest responses. Or they can attempt to reframe the narrative by suggesting the criticism isn't genuine. That third option is what we're seeing here. Instead of accepting that some people simply didn't love the album or found certain elements problematic, Swift's apparent strategy involves suggesting that negativity was artificially manufactured by bad actors. This serves multiple purposes. First, it allows the celebrity to dismiss criticism without engaging with its substance. If the backlash was orchestrated by bots or trolls, then the actual content of the criticism doesn't matter. Second, it rallies the fan base. Third, it provides cover in the media. Outlets can run stories about the bot campaign rather than stories examining the legitimate issues people raised. But this strategy only works if the evidence holds up. And in this case, it doesn't. The Goodia report lacks credibility. The company has no track record. The methodology is opaque. The findings are conveniently timed and conveniently favorable to Swift's interests. Meanwhile, experts who actually study social media manipulation and online discourse say the criticism Swift received was largely authentic. People discussing cultural appropriation? Organic. Debates about album quality? Organic. Commentary on her wealth and business practices? Organic. The only potentially inauthentic activity Gudia identified involved fringe posts on platforms like 4chan, spaces known for deliberately provocative content. But those posts represented a tiny fraction of the overall discourse, and most people could easily distinguish between trolling and legitimate critique. By highlighting that tiny fraction and suggesting it somehow tainted or drove the entire conversation, the report misrepresents what actually happened. It takes a sliver of questionable activity and uses it to cast doubt on thousands of authentic voices. And here's what makes this potentially illegal, or at least ethically questionable. If Swift's team did coordinate with Gudia and Rolling Stone to plant this story, they're essentially using a fake research report to manipulate public perception and silence critics. That's not crisis management. Now we get to the most disturbing part of this story. The two cases are fundamentally different. Lively faced backlash for her behavior during a press tour, behavior people witnessed to directly. Swift faced mixed reactions to an album, reactions that included both praise and criticism on specific artistic choices. There's no logical reason to link these situations unless you're trying to accomplish something specific. And that something appears to be building a case that Justin Baldoni's team is behind coordinated attacks on both women. Consider the timing. This report drops right as court documents in the Lively versus Baldoni case are being unsealed. Those documents reveal that Taylor Swift was more involved in the situation than previously disclosed. Text messages between Swift and Lively. Swift's presence at a meeting where Ryan Reynolds allegedly confronted Baldoni. Evidence of coordination between Lively and Swift during the production of the film. So Swift's name is appearing in legal documents that make her look complicit in whatever happened between Lively and Baldoni. And suddenly, right at that moment, a convenient research report surfaces, suggesting both Swift and Lively are victims of the same coordinated smear tactics. Coincidence? Doubtful. This looks like preemptive damage control. It's sophisticated, it's calculated. And if proven, it demonstrates a willingness to use media manipulation and questionable research to protect Swift's image at any cost. The implications go beyond just these three people. Real concerns about cultural appropriation get dismissed as bot activity. Legitimate questions about wealth inequality get waved away as coordinated attacks. Authentic reactions to artistic choices get reframed as manipulation. The power dynamic is already skewed heavily in favor of celebrities who have vast resources and media connections. Adding the ability to weaponize accusations of bot campaigns makes it even harder for ordinary people to hold powerful figures accountable. Let's zoom out and look at what this reveals about celebrity culture and media manipulation in the modern era. We live in a time when public relations has become incredibly sophisticated. Teams of professionals work around the clock to shape how celebrities are perceived. They plant stories in friendly outlets. They coordinate social media campaigns. And increasingly, they use accusations of artificial manipulation to deflect from organic criticism. Blake Lively pioneered this approach in her legal case against Baldoni, claiming a coordinated smear campaign damaged her reputation. Now we're seeing Taylor Swift's team apparently adopt the same playbook. If this becomes the standard response every time a celebrity faces backlash, we have a serious problem. Think about the implications for marginalized communities who already struggle to have their voices heard. Black women called out problematic elements in Swift's album, concerns rooted in their lived experiences and valid perspectives on cultural appropriation. That's not just unfair, it's harmful. It also raises questions about media responsibility. Why did Rolling Stone run with this story? Why didn't they demand better evidence before publishing claims about coordinated bot campaigns? Why did they allow their platform to be used in what increasingly looks like a PR operation? Journalism should serve the public interest by providing accurate, verified information. The Verge's investigation exposed these problems, but how many other stories slip through without scrutiny? How often do dubious research reports and convenient narratives get published without anyone questioning the source or the methodology? And what about Gudia? If they did produce this report independently, why? What motivated them to analyze Taylor Swift specifically? If they were hired or coordinated with Swift's team, why lie about it? These questions matter because they reveal how vulnerable our information ecosystem is to exploitation by those with resources and motivation to shape narratives in their favor. So, where does this leave us? Taylor Swift, one of the most powerful figures in entertainment, appears to have used questionable tactics to deflect criticism of her work. Her publicist tried to control media coverage while avoiding accountability. A suspicious research report with no credibility somehow ended up in Rolling Stone, conveniently supporting the narrative Swift's team would want. And all of this happened right as Swift's involvement in the Blake Lively legal case was becoming public, almost as if someone was trying to preemptively frame both women as victims of the same villain. If these dots connect the way they appear to, Swift isn't just protecting her image. That's not crisis management. That's something else entirely. What do you think? Is Taylor Swift borrowing Blake Lively's playbook, or is this all just an unfortunate coincidence? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown valuable, smash that like button and share this video, because this story deserves attention. The truth is still emerging. But one thing is clear. When celebrities have this much power to shape narratives and silence critics, we all need to pay closer attention.